steepest slopes of the valley I'm in, to the ocean depths where I'm without air to breathe. From the stormy path where I lost my way, you have made a way and you've made it plain for me. 'Cause you have made a way for me. Oh, you, yes, you have made a way for me.
Joining the show is Eric Schuetzler. Eric, thank you so much for joining. Now you're with Beam Suntory, so we've got a lot of mutual friends there. You know, the first person I want to see if you have any dirt on is Clarkson Hine. You got any good juice on him?
I don't just yet, but maybe we'll talk another time.
Well, I got some for you. Well, over a cocktail, when we're able to meet up again, I'll give you some good stories of Clarkson. No, he's
Sounds
a great guy. Just lot of good people at Beam Suntory, and you guys are you're getting in the hand sanitizer business. So tell us how you got in and what it's been like.
Yeah, well, first of all, Fred, thanks for having me. I'm very excited to talk about this topic. It's funny you say the business of hand sanitizer, because actually we consider this, part of our Growing for Good mission in terms of being committed and supporting the communities around us. So really this came up. I think we're all well aware of the need for hand sanitizer in the world today, especially for our first responders, medical facilities, emergency services, as well as some of our own plant facilities, which are continuing to run with modified safety protocol to respect social distancing and items like that. But, no one can find this product in the marketplace, as we all know. So for us, it was really about how do we pivot quickly to make this product in a safe way, to all the right regulatory standards, and get it out to the places that need it most. We recognize that the need is bigger than any one of us could probably ever produce to serve, but we know that we're putting hand sanitizer out into the world that will help a lot of people, specifically around our facilities in Kentucky, to stay safe in this unprecedented time.
What have you all had to do from a production standpoint to make this happen?
So actually what we've decided to do is we are producing all the hand sanitizer in our Global Innovation Center pilot plant. Part of the process to make hand sanitizer involves raw materials that, as a spirits company making, consumable products, we would not typically handle, nor would you want some of them in or around your consumable products. So what we did is we made the choice to keep this in our pilot plant, which also allows our production facilities to keep producing the spirits that we make around the world. And that's basically how we pivoted to get that up quickly, as well, in a way that we could do it to all the regulations while also keeping our products moving off of our lines.
Well, you say your pilot plant. Is that in Illinois? Where's the pilot plant?
Oh, yeah. The pilot plant's actually in our Global Innovation Center located in the Claremont, Kentucky campus. So if you've ever been there, there's the kind of the modern looking building close to the highway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually was there for the grand opening, so didn't know that you called it the pilot plant. All right, so you're able to create it in this space, so you're still able to make whiskey in Claremont proper.
Correct. The Claremont proper, Claremont proper is, unfazed by the production of hand sanitizer, and we are, looking at this as something we keep completely separate from that. Obviously, they're two different, very, very different products. So yeah, typically the pilot plant would be where we test things and where we try things out before you would go to Claremont proper. So in this scenario, we're just repurposing all that equipment to the production of hand sanitizer.
Okay, what have you found to be the challenges so far with creating hand sanitizer? Because let's face it, when you started working for Beam Suntory, this is probably like the last thing you thought you were going to be doing.
That's an understatement. Yes. So I would say the biggest challenges are the materials that aren't typically in our system, right? So there's two materials really that you have to worry about. The first one being, hydrogen peroxide, which is something in the WHO approved formula, which is the one that we are going off of. And that is actually a material that, you don't want to ingest, and a material that can be a little rough on your equipment. So that was one of the first challenges we had to overcome. And then the second one was the FDA has some pretty strict regulations around denaturing your alcohol before you put it into hand sanitizer. And those ingredients to denature, and really what denaturing is really just to make the alcohol taste so bad that no one would consider it consumable for safety reasons, essentially. And that's another challenge, is that you're basically bringing something in to make your spirit taste bad, which is not typically something we try to focus on as a spirits company. So those have been the two biggest technical challenges to bringing this all together. And then lastly, I would just say that, the other challenge being just the severe need of this product and all the requests coming through. And we've leveraged the Kentucky Distillers Association and the partnership there. But really being able to just focus on making this hand sanitizer and then figuring out where are the best donation opportunities for this. We've been approached for commercial, we've been approached for donation, and we've taken the approach that this is a 100% donation opportunity for Beam Suntory, and actually have declined all commercial opportunities so far.
Oh, wow. And what has been the investment from Beam Suntory to make this donation and to kind of like, really using all your assets to do this?
To be honest with you, Fred, I don't think anyone could actually tell you that right now, because we haven't even focused on the numbers yet, because for us, it's been about getting this product out into the marketplace. So in terms of quantifying that right now, I'm not even dodging. I literally don't know the numbers. It's something that we have not talked about yet. We've just been repurposing assets, people, and materials to get it out there.
In the production of this, have you found there to be any shortages of the materials you need, like the hydrogen peroxide or even something like the bottles? It seems to me like all the hand sanitizer bottles tend to be like a specialized style of plastic. Or has there been anything like that?
Yeah, as you can imagine, the supplies of some of these materials are, there's lots of people trying to buy them. So, because everyone's trying to do the right thing and make hand sanitizer where you can. But in terms of our packaging, actually, we're using our 1.75 liter PET bottles that are amber. So it gives us a little bit of UV protection on the technical side for these formulas, as well as it's something that we can blow ourselves in our Frankfurt facility. And, we're able to use that. And essentially, the reason this is okay for us is we are only donating to commercial opportunities. So these are basically used by hospitals, emergency services, first responders to refill the containers they have on site. And this allowed us to do it a lot faster versus going out and procuring spray nozzles, pump heads, all that sort of stuff that really isn't something we specialize in. Our fillers and cappers aren't specialized in that. And also is a supply chain that we don't typically play in. And then I think the other area is around the grain neutral spirit to get this, right? We don't have a ton of grain neutral spirit just lying around. So in terms of making sure that we have that supply as well, I think it's safe to tell you that most of the raw materials in today's world are a little bit constrained given all of the changes that have been going on around us.
And are there any challenges from like an HR perspective? I'm looking at some photos here, and it's obviously the social distancing here is working. It seems like there's like you guys got some tape and some rules in place there that keeps people from getting too close together. but with such a like a new creation for people who aren't used to making this, has there been like any kind of challenges there from a pure like the new norm, as we say, in creating this?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for noticing that we have put social distancing into place. So that was a key piece before we even got raw materials in. It was, how can we do this with the health and safety of our people as number one? So what we've done is partnered with our health and safety organization to figure out how do you put social distancing into place. And we used our plant facilities as the model for that and put that into our pilot plant facilities. And in addition, you know, there was no person who was forced to go in to do this. This is something that everyone was just so excited to be a part of. So we basically had volunteers within the R&D organization, as well as some of our other organizations, to come in and be part of this production. So we wanted to make sure we didn't put anyone in an uncomfortable position where they felt unsafe, even with the kind of the measures we put in place around health and safety.
How many bottles have you made to date, and what's the donation list been what's that look like?
In terms of bottles made to date, I would say we're a little bit north of 5,000 at this point in terms of 175s. We've increased output to around 1,500 bottles a day now of the 175 bottles. And so that's been really, really good. That's actually a little bit more than we thought we were going to get out in the shift, while also having people do social distancing. In terms of the list of requests, it's in the hundreds, as you can imagine. That's just within Kentucky. And that's all basically being handled through a website that KDA set up, kyhandsanitizer.com. So any organization that's looking for, you know, this sort of hand sanitizer donation or need that they have, they can go there and get themselves signed up on that list. And the beauty of that list, actually, Fred, is that we're able to look at that as an industry and make sure that we're not all servicing one request. And now it's able to get us to where we can service all the list down the way, instead of all the hand sanitizer going to one person while 10 people are waiting.
That's awesome, man. Well, you know, from the bottom of my heart and from every American and Kentuckian, thank you all for doing this. Is there anything else that you would like to add about the hand sanitizer movement? Can we expect them anything aged in a barrel or a single batch edition, maybe?
Yeah, you're looking for the single barrel hand sanitizer. Nice.
Yeah.
I would just say that, you know, while we are excited to be making this, we're hoping that for ourselves and for the rest of the world, that this is a relatively short-term need. We will continue doing our part, but we want to get back in the business of making great tasting whiskey and other fine spirits. So while it's been great that we've been able to get those donations out starting last Thursday to many emergency management and first responders and hospitals and some of our plant facilities, it's probably not the long-term business we want to be in. So excited to be able to do it, but also looking forward to getting back to where we can just be talking to you and I about some of the great new whiskeys coming out.
I look forward to that day too, Eric. Well, thank you so much for your time. Be safe out there, and until we can meet again in person, cheers.